Hi, my name is Nicholas. Welcome to this week's Hatha practice. For props for today, a couple hard blocks and a soft block will likely come in handy, and if there's anything else you like to have around, go for it. And when you're ready, we'll come and get started in a seat. So maybe sitting up off of your soft block, find any comfortable seated position, so cross-legged if you like, or anything else. And if for any reason you don't want to start in a seat, you can find child's pose or maybe lie down on the back for a little bit. And take a moment to get yourself settled in. Maybe a rock of the hips, a little wiggle of the spine, softening the shoulders, lengthening the neck. Hands can rest wherever they feel the most comfortable. And you can either soften and steady the gaze, maybe find something unmoving to look at, or if it feels okay to close down the eyes, then go for it. Once the eyes close down, take a scan through the body just to notice. Notice if there are any spots that require a little extra care or attention today. Just like you checked in with the body here, take a moment to check in with the mind, your headspace as well. And just to notice. Maybe part of you needs a little extra care. And you can make the practice whatever you need it to be today. If you want to build on and add on, you can do that. If you want to quiet things down at any point, you can do that as well. And keep checking in with the body and the mind and be wherever you need to be. Gently start to deepen your breath. Notice the chest, the side ribs, the back body. Each time you inhale, feel as they expand away from the spine. And with each exhale, feel them gently contract back in. finding a smooth quality to the breath. If you like to practice with Ujjayi, you can start to find that slight engagement through the back of the throat, almost like a whisper sound, like you're fogging up your glasses or a mirror. If you started your practice somewhere other than a seat, then you can join when you're ready. If you're sitting cross-legged, just switch the cross of the legs to keep things even for the body. And see, you might keep a block under the hips for this, or you can let that go. We'll start to rotate in a counterclockwise direction, starting from the base of the spine. And you can keep the body mostly upright here, but when it feels okay, if you like, you can start to exaggerate your circles, maybe letting the upper spine, even the head, neck, and shoulders get into this as well. And then slow down your circles to match your breath. So take one full in and exhale for each circle that you make. Last couple. Wherever you are, the next time you exhale, take a brief pause. And then with the next inhale, change the direction of your circles. And you might start off more upright again. And whenever you're ready, you can start to circle a little bigger, matching the breath to your movement once again, moving at your pace. Last couple. As you're ready, let your circles get a little bit smaller and slowly return back to your upright seat. Take a moment to settle the hips here. With an inhale, shrug the shoulders up to the ears and soften them down as back as you exhale. Again, like that, inhale to lift and lower. Once more. Awesome. When you're ready, you can shake out the legs, maybe give the backs of the knees a little tap, and then we'll swing the legs around and come and find a tabletop position. Hands roughly underneath the shoulders, knees roughly under the hips. And if this doesn't work for your wrists, then see if working from a fist feels better. Inhale, breath, let the belly sag down, lift the heart space and the tailbone. And exhale, breath, round in, chin towards the chest. A little different. Inhale, breath, open up this time, shoulder check the right side. And exhale, chin to chest to round. Other side, inhale, breath, let the belly sag, turn the gaze towards the left. And exhale, center. Inhale, open up through the middle. Exhale, round in. Inhale, open up, look right. And center. Inhale, shoulder check left. Exhale. And 2 more full rounds. Last round, last 3 breaths here. The next time you inhale, come to your tabletop, and then pause here for a moment. Set the knees a little bit wider apart, and then take the hips towards the heels. And check in here to see how this feels. If you want to add your soft block beneath hips and heels, or if you want to add a fold to the mat for extra padding for the knees, then go for it. Before we come into child's pose, stay in kind of a halfway lift position from here. And then take the left arm and thread it underneath the right, lowering the left shoulder, the left side of the head to the floor. And if the floor feels a little far away, feel free to bring in a prop. Right hand can stay where it is. If it feels better to take the right palm to the left, then go for it. You can also explore a half bind here. Whatever you're doing, make sure that the head, the neck, and that left shoulder feel adequately supported here. Even here where the spine is in a twist and the breathing might be a little restricted, and see if you can continue to find that space all the way around the spine with each inhale. Last deep breath here. And bring the right hand back to the floor. Unravel yourself. Come back to that halfway lift. And straight away, we'll take the right arm underneath, lowering right shoulder, right side of the head. And this side may feel a little different, so if you need to use your props differently, go for it. And same with the left arm. You can find the exact same expression you did on the right, but if this side needs something a little different, then choose that. As you're ready, find your stillness, find your deep breath here. As you're ready, left hand finds the floor, unravel yourself to center. And then come up to a tabletop position. Just check in with the spine here, maybe sneaking it side to side a few times. And when you're ready, we'll set up for a squat so you can step left foot outside the left hand, right outside the right, and then check in with the body here. If it feels better to be in more of a standing squat, then go for it. Otherwise, as you're ready, you sink the hips towards the floor. If you want some more support, you could play with hard blocks as a seat or one under each heel. If the heels are floating, maybe you want to ground a little more firmly. And hands can stay on the floor if you need them there for balance. Otherwise, bring the palms together here. You might need to adjust the feet. And then it might feel like the elbows are pressing the knees apart, so create just enough resistance with the knees that you can find a sense of stability. And from there, it might help you lengthen the spine a little bit. Mindful of what the head, the neck are doing here. If you have a tendency like me to stick the chin forward, maybe a slight tuck of the chin in towards the throat. Eyes can be open, steady, or closed. And find your breath here. If your hands aren't in prayer, you can release fingertips to the floor or to your blocks. And from here, start to extend the legs, lifting the hips up towards the ceiling. And you can walk the feet a little closer together, find a distance that feels comfortable. It'll probably feel good to pedal the legs a little bit, or maybe you're bending one knee deeply, stretching out the other one. And any of this can be done from a halfway lift shape if that's better for the spine or low back. And when you're ready, come and find your version of a forward fold. So again, it can stay in a halfway lift, maybe fold a little deeper. If there's an arm expression you want to add in, then go for it. And listen to your body here. Make sure the low back feels supported. So if bending the knees a little bit or generously makes the pose more accessible, then go for it. Hands can stay where they are, bring them to the shins. With an inhale, find a halfway lift and lengthen, and then sigh as you fold in. Again, like that, inhale, and exhale. Once more. Inhale, halfway lift, and stay here, press the heels to the floor. And strong belly with an inhale, come all the way up. You can circle the arms up towards the ceiling. If you feel a little lightheaded, arms can stay up. Otherwise, as you feel ready, you can release your arms down towards your sides and come and find your mountain pose. And check in here. Notice the soles of the feet. Find that equal weight between the ball of each foot and the heel. Notice how your feet are pointing and find the stance that feels the most natural in your body. As the feet gently press into the floor, feel the crown of the head lift gently towards the ceiling. Notice if the shoulders are up, see if you can soften them down and back. Notice your face for a moment. Notice the space between the eyebrows, around the eyes, around the mouth. Maybe you can soften a little. Feeling the body expand away from the spine with each inhale. Grounding down, softening here with each exhale. Check in here for a moment, and if you need to stay in stillness a little while longer, then go for it. Otherwise, as you feel ready, you can bring the hands to prayer at the chest. With an inhale breath, press the feet to the floor, press the palms towards each other. And with your exhale, bend the knees and come and find your chair pose. Find a depth that feels appropriate. Don't worry if the knees are ahead of the ankles, just make sure that that doesn't cause them any distress. Hands can stay in prayer, maybe palms pressing to keep that space across the chest. If you prefer to reach arms forward or up, go for it. Maybe hands to lap if you want more support. Lastly, notice the low back, and if it feels like a deep back bend, you might find a slight hug of the pubic bone towards the belly button to counter it, to support it. And breathe here, eyes open or closed. Last couple of breaths, you might even choose to sink a little deeper. All right, inhale breath, come all the way up, reach up towards the ceiling. Exhale breath, hinge forward to your forward fold. Halfway lift, lengthen the spine. And then step the right foot towards the back of the mat, and then lower the back knee to the floor. You can pad the back knee if necessary and work either from your blocks, fingertips, fists. As you inhale, find a deep lunge, let the pelvis dip down a little bit. And then as you exhale, send the hips back, front leg extends any amount towards straight. And then flow these shapes with your breath, inhaling to your lunge, lift the heart space, maybe the gaze. Exhale to your half split, dip the chest. If you find a sticky spot anywhere along the way and you'd like to pause it for a few breaths, then go for it. Otherwise, keep going at your pace with your breath. Last few here. Last one. And with an inhale breath, return to your lunge for a moment, and then kickstand that right foot over towards the left. And from here, come on up. So facing the side of the mat, and again, you might need to prop the right knee if it feels a little sensitive. And then you can work with the bent left knee, or I'm going to extend the leg with the toes pointing up towards the ceiling. So almost similar to a triangle setup, a little bit different. You can take the left hand to the left hip, wherever it feels most comfortable, and then reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. And take a deep inhale, lengthen from the right knee to the right fingertips. And then as you exhale, arc towards the front any amount. So the left hand can come along. Generally, we avoid the knee, especially if there's sensitivity there. Right arms can keep, right fingertips can keep reaching towards the ceiling. If you like to bend the elbow to catch the head, then go for it. Find your version of the shape and notice what's happening with the pelvis as well. Sometimes there's a tendency to kind of twist into it. So see if you can keep the pelvis kind of even side to side. Last few deep breaths here. All right, the next time you inhale, come on up. And then lower the right hand down to the floor and then turn the left foot in so that the big toe edge is touching the ground. And setting up for a modified side plank here. So as the right hand presses down, maybe the left palm presses towards the ceiling. And you can stay right here. If you like, you can play with hovering the right knee, or you could step the right foot to the back of the mat for your full side plank expression. Notice what's happening with that bottom shoulder. See if you can find a sense of stability, pressing the hand to the floor actively. If the top arm is reaching, then keep that active as well. Imagine that you're lengthening from hand to hand. Imagine you're lengthening from the heels to the crown of the head. Last few deep breaths here. Stay for one last inhale, reach. And then bring the left hand to the floor. Come to your plank from wherever you are. We won't hold it, but take a deep inhale, lengthen heels to crown, and then lower all the way down to the belly. Untuck the toes and press the toenails down. With an inhale breath, lift the heart space in the gaze. And soften, exhale. And twice more. Last one. Inhale, find your tabletop. And with your exhale, come to your child's pose. A few options here, so you can rest in your child's pose. You could rest in downward facing dog if you like. And you can rest in rock pose, so a kneeling position. Maybe the right wrist especially needs a little counter stretch, but you can do both. And bring the hands in line with the knees, either from a kneeling shape or from your child's pose. Elbows near the rib cage, and then from here bring the backs of the hands to the floor so you can find that nice stretch for the front of the wrist crease. And breathe into it. In about 5 breaths, we'll meet in downward facing dog. You can transition there sooner if you like. If you like to take a flow along the way or a couple rounds of cat-cow, then go for it. You can also stay in rest for as long as you need. And when you're ready, come and find your downward facing dog. You might pedal out the heels a little bit. Press the hands into the floor, press the feet into the floor, feel the hip bones lift up and back. And from your down dog, when you're ready, with an inhale, lift the right leg up behind you. We'll bend the knee and stack the hips. Notice if that puts all the weight onto the left hand and see what you can do to even that out, pressing both hands evenly to the floor. Maybe that left heel wants to drop a little bit to the floor, see what that feels like. Awesome. Now re-square the hips here. With an inhale, lift that right heel just a little higher. As you exhale, bring the knee in towards the chest. Inhale, send the leg back. A little different, right knee towards the right elbow. Inhale back. And right knee towards the left elbow. Inhale, send it back. We'll do all of those one more time. Knee to nose. Inhale. Knee to right. Inhale. And knee to left. Leg back as you inhale. And now take a big step forward. Step the right foot just outside the right hand. And we'll lower the left knee to find a lizard lunge. So check in here to see what you need. You can stay up on the hands. If there's the option to either walk them forward, maybe lowering the elbows, one or both to the floor. You can also use blocks if the floor is a little far away. And then just check in with your shape here. Make sure that you feel supported. Make sure that the angle for the right foot feels good in your body, so you can always turn the toes a little differently. We're about halfway through the shape, so you can stay exactly as you are, or the option is there to tuck the back toes and lift the back knee. It'll change where the stretch is, and it's a little more active, so totally your choice. All right, if the back knee is lifted, you can lower it, and if you're on the elbows, you can come up onto the hands. We'll keep the right foot where it is. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Deep inhale here, look forward. As you exhale, step left foot outside of left hand and sink the hips once again, and we'll find a squat. And check in here to see what you need from your squat. If for any reason this isn't working for you, you can come straight to a forward fold. You could find a seat or even come straight to standing. All right. Fingertips to the floor, lift the hips towards the ceiling, and walk the feet a little closer together. And then just check in here. You can choose stillness right away. You can pulse around as needed. We will set up for the second side from here. So if your heart blocks are at the other side of the mat, you might go and grab them real quick. Hands somewhere to the legs. Inhale breath. Come and find your halfway lift. And sigh, fold. And again. Last one. Now strong belly, flat back. Inhale, come all the way up. Reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Arms can stay lifted or release the arms down to your sides. And find your mountain pose. Now adjust anything you need and then come and find your stillness here. reconnecting with your breath. And checking in with the body. Choose stillness a little while longer. When you're ready, connect the hands at the heart. Press the hands together, press the feet down, deep inhale, and bend the knees for your chair pose. Your version of chair can look the same or different to the first round. Find a depth that feels appropriate that you can still breathe deeply in. Last couple of deep breaths, maybe sinking a little deeper. All right, inhale breath, come all the way up, reach up. And exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Halfway lift, lengthen. And press the left foot all the way to the back of the mat, lowering the left knee down to the floor. And check in here, work from fingertips, from fists, or from blocks. With your inhale breath, dip the pelvis forward and down, lift the heart space up. Exhale, hips back, front leg extends. And then flow with your breath, your pace, and pausing if you need to. Last couple here. The next time you inhale, come back to your lunge, and then kickstand the left foot over towards the right, and come on up when you're ready. If you need to adjust where you are, having the left knee kind of underneath the left hip, maybe a little further out, might feel the most stable. And again, the option to keep the right knee bent. Sorry, that was the left. The right knee bent or the right leg extended. And square your pelvis, your chest off towards the side. Right hand to the right hip, left arm towards the ceiling. Deep inhale, lengthen the left side. And as you exhale, arc towards the front. Find the support wherever you need it the most. Arm can stay extended or elbow bent, your version of the shape. And keep breathing that space to the whole left-hand side. With an inhale breath, come on up. And then look down towards the left, bring the hand down to the floor. And you can turn the right foot in, right toes towards the floor as well. Setting up for your side plank expression so you can stay right here, maybe reaching that right arm towards the ceiling. If you modified the first one, if you hovered or stepped back, then do the same here. Find your version of the shape, breathe into it. Expand from hand to hand, expand from feet to crown. And take one last inhale here. And wherever you are, come and find your plank. Bring both hands to the floor underneath the shoulders. Heels lifted above the toes. Take a deep inhale. And then come all the way down to the belly. Untuck the toes. Baby cobra as you inhale. Hands soften. And twice more. Last one. And then inhale, find your tabletop. And then hips to the heels for your child's pose. Or you can come to rock pose, all the same options. If you like to find the wrist stretch, then once again you can walk the hands in line with the knees, elbows by the ribs, and then turn the backs of the hands to the floor. In about 5 breaths, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Be wherever you need to be, stillness or movement between now and then. When you're ready from your down dog, lift the left leg up behind you. And again, we'll bend the knee to stack the hips. Maybe that right heel dips a little closer to the floor. Check in with the hands, press them down evenly. See if you can have the shoulders level with one another. Last couple deep breaths. And when you're ready, square the hips. Send the left heel a little higher. Deep inhale. And then knee towards the chest as you exhale. Leg back, inhale. Left knee, left elbow. Inhale. And left to right. One more of the whole thing. Inhale. And knee to chest. Inhale. Knee to left. Inhale. And knee to right. Inhale, leg back. And step the left foot outside the left hand. Set up your lizard lunge. Right knee lowers to the floor. You can pad the back knee. You can bring more height for the hands. Find the angle with the left foot that feels the most comfortable for the ankle, the knee, and the hip. If you have space, maybe walking the hands forward, maybe dipping the elbows towards the floor. Listen to your body, and you may end up somewhere a little different than the first side, and that's okay. If you did so on the first side, then pressing either hands or elbows to the floor will lift the back knee up for the second half of the pose. All right, if the back knee's lifted, lower it and walk the hands back in. With the hands to the floor, lift the back knee, deep inhale, and then exhale, right foot outside the right hand. Last round of squat pose, so take your time to set yourself up. Find a version of the shape that works for you, add in any support that you need. Choose stillness a little while longer. Otherwise, release one hand, then the other behind you. Lower the bum to the floor, and then take a generous windshield wiper with the knees side to side to release. Awesome. And give the legs a little tap. Maybe the arms a little shake out. Awesome. And then from here, walk the feet in, bring them flat to the floor, scoop the flesh of the bum out of the way. And we'll set up for boat pose, so you can stay right here. Work with maybe hands to the knees. Work with length in the spine, space for the chest. Or you can come to tippy toes. You can lift the shins up parallel to the floor. You can release the hands. You can close down the eyes. So find your version of boat pose here and make sure you're still breathing those long, deep breaths. And check in with your forehead, eyebrows, mouth. Maybe they can soften a little bit. Last few deep breaths. And then from here, we'll lower down to the back. So see how you want to transition. You can lower feet first. You can use the hands. Or maybe if you have space behind you, you start to extend the legs a little bit as you round all the way down. And once you find yourself on your back, then take a moment just to set yourself up. Make sure you feel comfortable. And then we'll bend the knees, walk the feet so that they're roughly underneath them. And check in here with where the toes are pointing and find something that feels really stable. Extend the arms long down the mat with the palms facing towards the floor. And then press the feet, press the hands, press the shoulders all towards the floor with an inhale breath. Lift the chest up, lift the belly up, the pelvis towards the ceiling, any amount. And then check in here. If the chest came up and it's restricting your breathing, point this chin a little bit more towards the ceiling. If you have space and you want to walk the shoulders under, if you want to interlace the hands, then go for it. And keep the feet pressing down actively. Keep the shoulders anchoring you in space. Breathe here. All right, you can stay for up to 5 more breaths. Whenever you feel ready, come out the way you came in. So walking out the shoulders, lowering the spine slowly back down to the floor, and then find a pause, maybe taking the feet a little wider, maybe resting the knees in together. Hands might be on the body somewhere. And choose stillness for as long as you need. When you're ready, we'll set up for our next shape. So we're going to take a reclined half hero pose, and I'm going to talk you through how to get into it from the back. But just in case you have something going on with the knees, or if you tried and it doesn't work for you, then the alternative pose will be to come onto one side and you can take a quad stretch from here. So you can prop yourself up any way you like, bend the top knee and then catch hold of the foot. The bottom knee can be bent too if that's good for balance. And then hugging the heel towards the bum, finding that stretch through the front line of that right leg. So that'll be for the alternative shape. If you're coming with me for half hero, then what I'll suggest is roll everything kind of over towards the left-hand side, and then reach down for that right foot and hug the foot close to the bum, and then see if you can plant the shin. It won't touch all the way for now, down towards the floor, getting the heel as close to the bum as you can. And then slowly start to round down onto the back and just go nice and slow and see how this is. So if you need to adjust anything, then go for it. Straight away, if you're feeling pain or anything like that, whether it's in the knee, the ankle, or the hip, you can come out and take the alternative. If you need to adjust where the knee is pointing or anything like that, then go for it. If you want the heel a little further to the side or a little more underneath you. If you're sitting here and one side of the pelvis is really high and the other side isn't, then you can also add a little height to the hip. So that might mean bringing your soft block under the bum, maybe your hard block. Left knee can stay exactly as it is. If you have space and you want to explore extending the left leg down the mat, then go for it. If this adds more pressure, then you can back out. And then maybe the arms somewhere to the side. And take your time to find your version of the shape. Settle into it, find your breath, and listen to your body. If at any point it lets you know it's time to come out, then go for it. Coming out will be similar to going in. So if you extend to the left leg, you might rebend that knee and then roll off to the left side enough that you can release that right leg from under you. Maybe coming back to center and then see what feels like a nice counter stretch, maybe to extend that leg, maybe to windshield wiper, maybe to pause. So take a few breaths wherever you need to be. It's possible that that worked well on one side, and then when we go to the second side, it's not. So you can always choose the alternative, or you can come out sooner if you need to. And when you're ready to set yourself up, roll everything down towards the right-hand side, reach down for that left heel or foot, and then see if you can bring it close to your bum underneath you, and slowly start to roll yourself down. Now this side may feel different, so again, take your time as you come out, or as you come in rather. The heel can be closer to the body, further away. The knee can be pointing more in or more out, or maybe straight down. And then check in with the pelvis as well. So if you're finding that you're leaning over to one side, add a little more height in. And then even if you did so on the first side with extending the other leg, just check in to see if that's the right thing for you here. If it is, you can go for it anytime. If you don't need the hands for support, then maybe take them out to the side. Settle into the shape. Listen to your body. When you're ready to come out, bending that right knee once again, leaning over toward the right to release the left leg. And then see what feels like a good counter stretch here. Maybe extending, maybe a rock of the feet side to side or windshield wiper. Awesome. You can keep the legs extended. Reach the arms up towards the ceiling or towards the floor overhead, rather. And then start to walk your feet towards the bottom right corner of the mat. You can start to walk your arms towards the top right corner until you find yourself in a crescent moon shape. Notice if the left hip is lifting at all. See if you can keep it nice and heavy to the floor and find that stretch for the whole left side of the body. And then you can always bend the elbows. You could cross left ankle over right, maybe left wrist over right. And you can always turn the head a little differently if that feels better for your neck. And breathe into that stretch for the whole left side. And gently uncrossing wrists and ankles and walking everything back to center. And then feet towards the bottom left, arms towards the top left. It might look the same or a little different to the first side. Find that heaviness through the right side of the pelvis. Find that stretch for the whole right side of the body. And slowly work the arms back to center and the legs. And from here, bend the knees, and then we'll reach down and grab hold of the feet for happy baby. You can also catch the ankles or the shins, maybe bring the feet like they're standing on the ceiling. And see if the low back has lifted up. See if you can prioritize keeping the low back grounded, even if the feet need to come down a little bit. And choose stillness here. If you like to play with rocking side to side, then try that. If you like to extend one leg towards straight and then rebend it to extend the other. Stillness or movement, and find your version of happy baby. And breathe into whatever you're feeling here. If you need a little more time here, you can stay. Otherwise, as you're ready, gently release the feet down to the floor. The next shape we'll take is Shavasana, and for that, for today, I would suggest taking a reclined butterfly shape. So soles of the feet together, knees nice and open. You can use your hard blocks to support the legs if you're here with me. Otherwise, find the most comfortable symmetrical shape you can. So if that's on your back, then great. If you'd rather rest in a seated meditation, or if you'd like to come back to child's pose or something like that, then go for it. Whatever you're choosing, just give yourself a little time to settle in. If anything feels fidgety or needs some movement first, then find that. Find a comfortable expression for the arms wherever they end up landing. If you need to adjust anything on the body, like remove a watch or untie hair, anything like that, then go for it. Notice the forehead, the eyes, the mouth. See if you can soften a little there. Maybe run the tongue along the teeth, between teeth and lips, top set, then bottom set, and to help release the jaw as well. If you were practicing with Ujjayi breath, you can let that go now. Finding your natural inhale and exhale. Let the body get heavy as you settle yourself in. Bring one hand to the heart space, the other hand to the belly. And take a deep, deep inhale, fill up. Sigh it out. And again, deepest inhale. Dramatic sigh. Last one, biggest one. Reaching down, helping the knees back together. Maybe pausing with the knees resting, or if you're ready, find a windshield wiper side to side. You can keep this going, or you can collect the knees in the chest and wrap the arms around the shins. Maybe bring the forehead to the knees and give yourself a rock side to side. And then start to rock up and down the length of the spine. You can move nice and slow, mindful of the neck here, massaging the back. Awesome. And then either stopping and rolling to one side, or if you like, you can build up a little momentum and come up and find your seat that way. There's no rush to arrive, so whenever you're ready, you come and find a comfortable seated position. Cross-legged or anything else, you can use any of your props for support. Take a moment to settle the hips, to settle the shoulders. Take that scan through the body from the feet to the head. And check in with your head space. The hands can stay where they are. Collect the palms in front of the heart. Maybe bow the chin in towards the chest. Thank you for sharing your breath and your energy today. Namaste. My name is Nicholas, and thank you for joining me for your yoga practice today. If you have any questions, please reach out and enjoy the rest of your week.